Welcome to the West Virginia Media Lab podcast. Today, we're really exploring something pretty fascinating that's changing how we interact with technology every day. It's the whole art and science, really, of guiding artificial intelligence using these carefully crafted prompts. People are calling it AI prompt engineering. And it's moving beyond just being a tech buzzword. It feels like a real necessity now for professionals in all sorts of fields, even consulting, where clear communication is already, well, everything.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. We're using tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, others more and more every day, really. So the ability to really refine how we talk to these systems, that offers some uh, pretty incredible advantages.
Like what specifically?
Well, unlocking better insights, for one, getting more value out of the AI,
Yeah.
saving time, definitely, and ultimately just, bringing more value in whatever job you're doing.
Okay, so let's back up a bit. For someone maybe just hearing this term prompt engineering, what exactly is it? What are we actually talking about here?
Yeah, good question. So basically, prompt engineering, it's really about strategically designing the instructions,
Hmm.
the inputs we give to AI models. It's about learning how to ask, well, better questions, how to give clearer directions to these language models.
So the prompt is kind of like the instruction.
Exactly. It acts as a very specific set of directions, almost like a roadmap, guiding the AI towards the kind of output we're actually looking for.
Okay, so it's definitely more involved than just like typing a quick question into Google.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Simple questions get you simple answers,
right.
usually. Prompt engineering is about being really intentional, thoughtful with your language. And, we often talk about it with text-based AI like ChatGPT.
Right.
But these same ideas, these principles, they apply just as much when you're working with AI that makes audio or even images from text descriptions.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so if someone actually does this for a living, a
Mhm.
prompt engineer,
Yeah.
what does their job actually involve? Like, what are they doing day to day?
It's actually quite a varied role. Crafting those prompts, obviously, that's core, getting specific results. But it goes way beyond that. They're
Mhm.
also heavily involved in testing, really analyzing what the AI puts out.
Okay.
Experimenting, too, trying different ways to phrase things, seeing what works best.
Well, it sounds like a continuous loop. Learning, refining.
Definitely. And it's all based on understanding, at least fundamentally, how these AI models actually work. And crucially, they also think about the ethics.
Ethics. How so?
Well, considering how the prompts and the AI's answers might be used or misused, they need to be really aware of potential biases creeping in, always aiming for fairness, cultural sensitivity. That's huge.
Right, because the AI learns from data that might already have biases.
Precisely. And the work continues as they refine those prompts based
Right.
on, their expert take on what might be missing or could be better in what the AI generated initially, always pushing for like optimal quality.
It's fascinating how deep they have to go into analyzing the output.
It really is. And prompt engineers might also be involved in, say, embedding these well-crafted prompts into software applications to automate things.
Ah, okay. So integrating it.
Yeah. And they often work with teams across different departments, building AI tools together.
Yeah.
They might even keep an eye on how the AI systems are performing long term. It's genuinely interdisciplinary. You see it touching marketing, education, finance, HR, healthcare, you name it.
Wow, yeah. It really spans across so many areas. So why now? Why is this becoming such a big deal right at this moment? Why is engineering good prompts so important?
Well, the biggest driver is just how fast AI is being adopted. Everywhere, almost every industry is looking at it or already using it.
Right, it feels like it exploded recently.
It really has. And as more businesses use these tools, the need for people who can actually guide them effectively, that becomes critical. We need specialists, people who can design and optimize prompts for models like ChatGPT, Bard, Llama, to make sure the information we get back isn't just, well, accurate, but also high quality and, importantly, free from harmful bias.
So it's about harnessing the real power of these AI systems, but doing it responsibly.
Exactly. Think about the potential. Automating customer service with smarter chatbots, right? Creating virtual assistants that handle more complex stuff, generating all kinds of content. Skilled prompt engineering is really the key to unlocking all that reliably and safely.
You touched on ethics earlier, and it seems really central here. Can we unpack that a bit more? What are the main ethical challenges?
Yeah, it's a huge area. One big challenge is bias reinforcement. Like we said, if the training data is biased, the AI can perpetuate or even amplify stereotypes if the prompts aren't carefully designed.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Misinformation is another one. An AI might generate plausible sounding but incorrect information if not guided towards reliable sources. Then there's the potential for generating harmful content, hate speech, harassment if prompts aren't designed with safeguards, or if users try to exploit the system.
So people trying to misuse it intentionally.
Right. And sometimes people find ways to exploit system flaws to get around safety measures. It's a constant cat and mouse game in some ways.
So given those challenges, what are the core principles for doing this ethically? How does a prompt engineer navigate this?
Well, first and foremost, it's about respect for human rights and dignity. Prompts should never aim to generate hateful or harassing content. For example, an ethical system, guided by good prompting principles, should refuse requests that are clearly harmful or discriminatory.
Okay, so refusing harmful requests, that's a baseline.
Absolutely. Then there's a commitment to accuracy and truthfulness, encouraging the AI to cite reliable sources, especially for sensitive topics like medical information. You might prompt it like, explain this condition using information only from reputable medical journals or health organizations.
Got it, guiding it towards quality sources.
Exactly. Cultural sensitivity and inclusivity are vital too, avoiding biased language, stereotypes, or assumptions in the prompts themselves. Maybe reframing a question about a cultural tradition to be more open-ended and respectful, rather than making assumptions.
That requires real awareness from the engineer.
It does. Transparency is another key principle. Being clear about why you're asking for certain information, especially if it involves sensitive topics. For instance, if you're researching data privacy attitudes, you'd clearly state the research purpose in the prompt, not try to trick the AI.
So being upfront about the intent.
Yes. And finally, protecting privacy and confidentiality is paramount. Prompts should never ask for or encourage the sharing of private personal information. The system should be designed, through prompting and other controls, to refuse to process or reveal confidential data.
These principles seem crucial for building trust in AI.
Absolutely. Ethical prompt engineering isn't just a nice-to-have. It's fundamental to ensuring AI actually benefits everyone responsibly.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly to the practical side again. You mentioned needing clear goals and context. Can you give us maybe some more concrete tactics? How do we actually write better prompts?
Sure. So setting clear goals. Think about using strong action verbs. Instead of just, tell me about X, try summarize the key findings of X, or compare and contrast X and Y, or generate 3 creative ideas for X. Also, define the output. Specify the length, the format, like bullet points or a paragraph, or the target audience. Explain quantum computing to a high school student in 500 words. That's a clear goal.
Right, much clearer than just explain quantum computing.
Exactly. Providing context is also huge. Don't assume the AI knows the background. Include relevant facts, data, maybe reference specific sources if needed, or define key terms within the prompt itself.
Give it the background info it needs.
Precisely. Another really useful technique is called few-shot prompting.
Few shot? What's that?
It's where you give the AI a few examples. That's the few shots, the kind of input and output you want. So if you want summaries written in a certain style, you provide maybe 2 or 3 examples of text and the kind of summary you expect.
So you show it what good looks like.
Exactly. It helps the AI grasp the pattern, the style, the level of detail you're after. It's like giving it a mini training session right there in the prompt.
That sounds powerful.
It can be. Also, just being specific. Use precise language. Avoid vague terms. If you need numbers, quantify your request. Increase sales by 10%, not just increase sales.
Yeah.
And break down big tasks. Don't ask the AI to write a whole novel at once. Maybe ask for a chapter outline first, then character descriptions, then draft a scene.
Step by step. Makes sense.
Yep. And iterate, experiment. Your first prompt probably won't be perfect. Try different phrasings, adjust the level of detail, test different lengths, see what works best. It's a process.
Just don't be afraid to tweak and try again.
Absolutely not. And one more technique, which is quite interesting, is chain of thought prompting.
Chain of thought.
Yeah. For more complex problems, where reasoning is involved, you can actually prompt the AI to explain its thinking process step by step. Ask things like, explain your reasoning, or what steps did you take to arrive at this answer?
So you're asking it to show its work, like in math class.
Kind of, yeah. It encourages a more logical sequence and can often lead to more accurate and coherent results, especially for problem-solving tasks.
These techniques really highlight how much nuance there is to interacting effectively with AI. Okay, so given all this, this specialized skill, Is prompt engineer actually a job title people have? Is this a real career path that's opening up?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely an emerging field, yes. And while it's, still relatively new in the grand scheme of things, the demand for these skills is growing fast.
Okay. And what kind of skills does someone need? You mentioned writing.
Yeah, strong writing and communication skills are absolutely essential. You have to be able to articulate complex requests clearly. Also, the ability to understand the end user. Who's the AI output for? What do they need? That empathy is important.
Right. Understanding the audience for the AI's response.
Exactly. And while, deep coding expertise isn't always a strict requirement.
Oh, really? You don't necessarily need a comp sci degree.
Not always, no. It definitely helps, especially for more technical roles or embedding prompts in applications. But a foundational understanding of how AI models work, how they learn, their limitations, that's really helpful. And just lots of hands-on practice experimenting with different AI tools is key.
So it's this interesting mix then, like creativity in language combined with some technical understanding.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. Thinking creatively about how to phrase things to get what you want, but also having that technical awareness to know what's possible and what's not. And yeah, we're seeing this need pop up across tons of industries, like we talked about: finance, healthcare, marketing, education. Strong language skills, critical thinking, and that AI understanding are really valuable assets.
It sounds like a great fit for someone who's maybe naturally curious, a good communicator, and enjoys problem solving.
Exactly. It really is.
So if someone is interested and they want to move into this area, how do they show they have these skills? How do you build a portfolio for something like prompt engineering?
That's a great question. Creating actual projects is probably the best way. Pick an area you're interested in, maybe marketing or creative writing or data analysis.
Okay.
And then develop a set of prompts designed to achieve specific tasks in that area. Maybe prompts to generate different ad copy variations or to summarize research papers or to create character backstories. Documenting these projects clearly: what was the goal, what prompts did you try, what were the results, how did you iterate, and maybe sharing them on platforms like GitHub or even a personal blog that can really demonstrate practical experience.
Right. Showing your work, basically, showing the process.
Exactly. And showcasing work across different AI tools is also smart. Show you can work with text models like ChatGPT, maybe image generation tools like Daily or Midjourney, perhaps even code generation AIs. It shows versatility.
Good point. Don't just stick to one tool.
Right. And as we sort of touched on, if you can combine prompting skills with domain knowledge you already have,
Right.
say if you have a background in healthcare and can create effective prompts for summarizing patient notes or medical research,
Yeah.
that's incredibly valuable. That specialization makes you stand out.
That makes perfect sense. Combine it with what you already know. Okay, the question I think a lot of listeners might have.
Yep.
What about the money? What's the career outlook, the salary potential look like in prompt engineering?
Well, the market trends are definitely looking strong. The overall market size for prompt engineering was estimated around $222 million USD back in 2023.
Okay, not insignificant.
No, and the projected growth rate is pretty impressive, a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of nearly 33% predicted between 2024 and 2030.
Wow, that's fast growth.
It is. They're projecting the market to hit around $375 million in 2024 and potentially over $2 billion by 2030.
2 billion. Okay, so there's real momentum here. What's driving that growth?
A few things. Advances in generative AI itself, obviously. The models are getting better, more capable, which increases their potential applications. Also, just increasing digitalization and automation across all sectors. Businesses want to leverage AI, and the growing use of natural language processing, NLP in general.
Makes sense. And are specific industries driving demand more than others?
We're seeing huge demand in healthcare. BFSI banking, financial services, insurance, and retail. They're all adopting AI quite rapidly for things like customer service, data analysis, personalization.
Okay, so the actual salaries. What might someone expect, say, in 2025?
Based on current trends and projections, for 2025, entry-level prompt engineers might see ranges maybe $95,000 to $130,000.
For entry level, that's quite strong.
It is. Mid-level roles could be in the $140,000 to $175,000 range. And senior-level prompt engineers, or those with specialized skills, could be looking at $200,000, maybe $270,000, even higher in some cases.
That's very competitive.
Yeah. AI salaries in general are projected to keep rising in 2025, driven by that accelerating adoption. The top payers tend to be, big tech companies, well-funded AI startups, finance and healthcare sectors, places where optimizing AI performance translates directly to big value.
And are there ways to boost that potential salary, specific skills to add?
Yeah, definitely. Upskilling in areas like understanding large language model behavior more deeply, maybe learning some Python scripting, which can help automate prompt testing or integrate prompts into workflows,
Yeah.
and really digging into AI ethics. Those can all increase earning potential.
Good tips. Now, looking even further ahead, what's the long-term future hold for prompt engineering? It's evolving so fast, as you said.
It really is. And honestly, predictions vary quite a bit. It's a rapidly changing landscape.
Okay. What are some of the possibilities?
Well, one perspective is that as AI gets more powerful, the standards for its output will also rise. People will expect higher quality, more nuance, more creativity. And achieving that top-tier output might require even better, more sophisticated prompt engineering skills. So in this view, the need for skilled engineers becomes even more critical.
So as AI gets smarter, we need smarter ways to talk to it to get the best results.
That's one strong argument, yeah. But there's a counter-argument, too,
Which is?
that the AI systems themselves might become much more intuitive, better at understanding natural, less structured language. They might get better at figuring out what we mean, even if our prompts aren't perfectly crafted.
Ah, so the AI does more of the heavy lifting in understanding the request.
Exactly. In that potential future, the need for meticulous, highly detailed prompt engineering might decrease for everyday tasks. The AI just gets it more easily. However, even then, the fundamental skill of clearly articulating complex goals, understanding the AI's capabilities, and guiding it strategically, that's likely to remain valuable, even if the exact nature of prompting changes.
So the role might evolve, but the core skill of effective human-AI communication remains important.
I think that's a very likely scenario. It's such a dynamic field. Staying curious, adaptable, and continuously learning alongside the AI itself will be absolutely key for anyone in this space.
It really feels like we're just scratching the surface of how this human-AI collaboration is going to unfold.
I completely agree. It's an exciting time.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful, really unpacking the world of AI prompt engineering. It's clear it's not just a trend, but a really dynamic and increasingly vital skill set. There's significant opportunity here for people and organizations who can master this art of talking effectively with AI. Thank you so much for sharing all your expertise today.
It was absolutely my pleasure. Glad to talk about it.
And to you, our listener, we hope this gives you food for thought. We encourage you to explore these ideas more. Consider how sharpening your own ability to guide AI could impact your work, your creativity, or just how you interact with technology in the future. It's certainly a fascinating journey we're all embarking on together.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. The West Virginia Media Lab is all about celebrating our state and its people, businesses, stories, news, and folklore. If you love West Virginia like we do, be sure to comment below, then subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to stay connected. Until next time, stay wild, wonderful, West Virginia.